I wanted to share with you a really fantastic piece of equipment. I'm very, very fortunate to own one. A very good friend of mine recently offered this up for sale to me, and I just was intrigued by it and thought I'd help him out and help myself out at the same time. So I purchased this. Apparently, when I made the video for James Demeter about 7 years ago, this amplifier was in the studio, and I don't know whether we used it for the video or not, but that was the last time and the first time this thing ever had electricity running through it. It has sat in a closet for 7 years and never turned on. What it is a James Demeter VTHF 300M all valve power amp. It's a 300 watt monoblock power amp, and it weighs an ungodly like 60 pounds. So it's a beast as far as the weight goes. But I do remember, well, I was intrigued by the amp, so I bought it from my friend, brought it home. It took about 8 hours for the capacitors to charge up. They were making some odd gurgling noises for about 8 hours until the amp actually basically got recharged from having not been on for 7 years. And since then it's been dead silent and perfect. But what is really special about this amp is the tone, the sound, and the response. I have never experienced a tube power amp that worked like this. I've tried Aguilars, Ashtowns, SVTs, you name it. I'm always trying to try new things, test things out, but I've always used an Alembic preamp with a tube in it, and I always found that mating a tube preamp with a tube power amp just usually led to a fairly unresponsive and muddy kind of tone, really kind of like a wet blanket over it. And I've just pretty much written off valve power amps for all these years. I always have been using for probably 25 years 3,000 to 4,500 watt solid state power amps, which have worked fantastic for me, and they sound great, and they made up beautifully with the Alembic preamp. But this whole concept I had in my mind of a valve power amp not working with a valve preamp is now turned on its head. I am experiencing things with this power amp that are every bit as responsive, loud, powerful, full, punchy, great highs and great lows, but in a different way than my solid state amps. It is just more musical. That's the only way I can describe it, really, is that it's just more musical. It has a sweetness to it that it's just not sterile like the solid state amps can be. They can be, really tight and powerful and loud, but they don't bring anything else to the table. Whereas this amp, because of the tubes, it just sings. And I've never experienced anything like it, even with any of the other tube amps out there. So I was just absolutely blown away when I started playing it that first day. And I thank my lucky stars that I was able to get one. James isn't making them anymore, so they were rare to begin with, and now they're impossible to, get another one. So I'm very, very blessed to have it. Anyway, I'll do a little playing here, and once again I'll slap just so you get an idea of the transients and everything else. But you'll hear that it absolutely covers the low B and all the way up the neck as high as I want to go. It's just got great tone. Anyway, it does everything. It's got the sparkle, clarity on the top, handles that low B like it's a piano. It just rings. I'm basically at stadium volume right here. This is as loud as I'd probably ever use the amp, and that's pretty darn loud. And it just handles it beautifully. There's no breakup, there's no distortion, there's no delay in what I'm doing. It follows and tracks everything I'm playing perfectly, and goes from those highs all the way down to some thunderous lows. I just can't say enough about the amp. I am just absolutely amazed at how good it sounds. Now, I found a spot in the house. I leave it here. It stays in its place, but it is my ultimate reference tone. And if I want to record with it here, I can. But I can't say enough about how good this amp is. And out of everything I've played over the last 45 years, it really is the best power amp I've ever played through. I can't say enough.